Cheers, Tony. Yeah, look, I found right at the front of the grid Keith Flynn. The prodigy's Keith Flynn. What do you call you, rock star? You don't have called a pop star, rock star.
No, I'm a bike rider.
And you do a lot of racing, and you win races, don't you?
We just won at Alton with the hot tracks endurance, 3-hour endurance. So I'm well buzzed with that. Yeah, that was a good one.
You also came in our track day, and I was shocked at how fast you were for a rich man.
That's very kind of you. Yeah, but I do remember looking behind me and seeing you on the back wheel. So yeah.
Right, 2 points in it. John Hopkins to Tommy Hill. Who's your money on?
I mean, listen, both really cool lads, but I'd like to see Hopper grab it. Crescent look after my bike, so I've got a bit of loyalty to the team there. But we love Tommy. I mean, he's a wicked rider, and so may the best man win. That's all you can wish for, isn't it? Really.
Say what you want. I call you a turncoat for saying that. Keith, thanks.
No.
Enjoy this one, mate.
Yeah. Have a good one. Thanks.
Cheers, Keith. Right, we're looking. I'm not going to speak to either of the boys. We're looking at John Hopkins, obviously. They're both in the zone. There's no way. I mean, I've been here myself. I know what it's like. The last thing you want when your helmet's on is even putting his visor down. And that, to me, says you really don't want anybody. You don't want to go near him. He's got his visor down. That's him in his own little zone. He's ready to go. We'll look across now. Michael Laverty, he could play a pivotal part in this race. And we're looking back to Tommy Hill. Tommy's just stood by the side of his bike. Look, you see him there. He's got his crew on his bike. He'll know exactly what he's got to do. There's 2 points in it. There's no mucking about. There's no working it out on paper. These boys know that they have to go out there and beat each other. The problem is there's several people, including John Kirkham, including Shane Byrne, who won the last race, and including Michael Laverty, who was running strong in the last race, who can play a pivotal role in this battle we're just going to see. I can't wait. I'm dead nervous, I've got to say. There's no way I'm going to go and talk to any of these riders. They're in the zone. Tony, take it away, mate.
Thanks very much, Whit. Yes, you're nervous, the riders are nervous, we're nervous here on the pit wall. Look, I've been joined by Chaz Davis, World Supersport Champion for 2011. Chaz, a heartfelt congratulations. How does it feel to be World Champion?
Pretty cool, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's been a busy week, been a really sort of strange week. I've been flat out. I think all the emotion of the season and what you go through in a season kind of hits home, and I felt knackered all week, to be honest with you. But now I just can't wait being here as well. I can't wait to be in Portugal next week.
Yeah, Portugal next week. We'll talk more about you and the championship then. Let's just focus on this here because we are very close to getting this race underway. I've got to ask you probably the toughest question I've asked all day. Who's your money on in this one?
I'm not a betting man. I definitely wouldn't bet on this one. I'm going to go with Hopper. I think Hopper can pull it off. It's going to be interesting because I think Michael might have to play the teammate game with Tommy. Shaky, he's got nothing to lose, and a few other boys that could get in the mix. It's going to be really interesting. So
it's an amazing championship in that we have so many riders hitting their form all at the same time right at the end. You don't often get that, do you?
No, I think the way that the championship's structured, it just everybody's going to bring their best game to the last three races, and then it just all comes to a head, and it gets crazy, doesn't it? Like the race earlier, it's like I was getting all excited because obviously my sister's seeing Michael and seeing him leading, and then one corner later he's on the deck. It's like, well, championship's gone again, and it just comes, sort of turns around the whole time. So let's see what happens.
And not only here at the front of the grid, but further down we have an amazing depth of field in Britain at the moment in BSB. Graham Gowland in particular has stood head and shoulders above most other riders for some of his performances out there on the Evo bike, 20 bhp less.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of sort of talk about the Evo class, but seeing Graham, what he's doing on it, it just proves, it seems like he's a hell of a rider. So we'll see, next year. We'll see how he gets on.
Absolutely, and we'll talk more about you next week at Portimao. Thanks for joining me, Chaz Davis. Chaz Davis there, the World Supersport Champion for 2011. Right, here we go then. This is it, everybody. Stand by your beds. This is the last time of asking for the MCE British Superbikes in 2011. This is going to be such a great race. Hope you enjoy it as much as we will enjoy it here. Let's go over to our commentators then, James Whittam and Jack Bernicle.
The standings at present: John Hopkins 629, Tommy Hill 627, Shaky Byrne on 600, 10 ahead of Michael Laverty on 590, 2 points ahead of Josh Brooks for the relentlessly happy Suzuki by Taz team on 588. Yuichi Kiyanari on 521. Outside that top six, John Kirkham leads the way and is out of reach now for that 7th place in the Riders' Cup on 210. Michael Rutter, Rapid Solicitors Batham's Ducati 155, just 7 points now ahead of Peter Hickman's Tyco Honda. He in turn is 9 points ahead of Gary Mason on the MSS Colchester Kawasaki. 11th for Jessup, 12 for Chris Walker after a great ride in race 1 today. Baz is 13th ahead of Graham Gowland, James Westmoreland, Tommy Bridewell, Stuart Easton, James Ellison, Dan Linfoot and Alex Lowes. This is how the grid looks. Shaky Byrne won the race earlier today and also set the fastest lap. He's on pole with the HM Plant Honda ahead of John Kirkham's Samsung Crescent Suzuki. Swan Yamaha's Michael Laverty went back out to set the fastest lap and didn't quite make it. John Hopkins rounds out the front row. The second row of the grid is headed by James Ellison, a brilliant third in the race this morning. He edged out Tommy Hill, who has to start from row 2 alongside Chris Walker's Primo Kawasaki and James Westmoreland's Team WFR Honda. And in the third row, Tyco Honda's Peter Hickman, Tommy Bridewell, Graham Gowland and Dan Linfoot. And row 4 has Michael Rutter, Carl Harris after a great ride on the Split Lap Aprilia, Patrick Muff and Scott Smart. The weather has cooled slightly outside, but it stayed dry. These are probably as good a conditions as the boys could hope for. It's
Perfect.
21 Hopkins versus 31 Tommy Hill. The light goes out. The start surely vital here. Hopper moves across to block any move by Tommy Hill, and John Kirkham joins in as well on the second of the present Suzuki's.
Tommy's gone for the inside. Hopper just got caught on the outside of Ellison there.
So Tommy Hill tucks tight in. John Hopkins just there, right beside him, alongside his front wheel.
Yep.
And that is as they drop down to Graham Hill Bend, and John Kirkham just round the outside. Wow, they crowded one another out there, and that was a kick of the foot there from Michael Rutter.
Michael Rutter not happy with that. Yeah, I think. Oh,
and that was Tommy Hill.
That's Tommy getting knocked wide. No, it isn't. Laverty. Laverty, green helmet.
Laverty got knocked aside, and at the moment that means that Laverty's been punted back a bit. Hopkins has got a clean start ahead of Hill. Behind Hill is the hard-riding John Kirkham. We saw how aggressively he was riding in the first race. Anything could happen. At the front, though, it's Shaky Byrne ahead of James Ellison, who's made a stunning start on the StoryMate.com Honda. Third place, John Hopkins. Fourth place, Tommy Hill. Fifth place for John Kirkham.
Yeah, and Tommy just needs to get into the groove a little bit earlier than he did in the first race we saw today. The problem there was there were damp patches. He's got a lot better run at it. Perfect conditions now. Doesn't have to worry about running off line. But he really needs to not let Hopkins get away.
And right now Hopkins is just ahead of him, and Hopper just really cleverly moved across to block any chance Hill might have had of squeezing through into Paddock Hill. Look at the speed of Ellison's Honda down the straight.
That's every bit as fast as a full factory bike is up against there.
So Shaky Byrne once again leading the way. Right behind him we've got Ellison, and Hopkins looking suitably impatient on the Samsung Crescent Suzuki.
He does. He looks menacing now. Looks like he's going to be looking for a way past Ellison any minute.
And I think probably what really helped him mentally, James, was he didn't know at the end of the last race, Hopper, whether he'd done enough to maintain a lead in the championship. I think finding out he still had a 2-point advantage would have been a huge lift at the end of the earlier race.
Yeah, but you know, when it's a 1 or a 2-point lead, it doesn't really matter. All it means is you've still got to go out and beat the man you're up against in the championship. You know, psychologically, maybe a bit of a advantage, I suppose.
Shaky Byrne did 1:31.006 on that first lap. We're on the second lap, and of course from a standing start on the second lap of 20. It's a full-on 20 laps here, so it's a long race as they drop through Dingle Dell, climb the hill towards Shane Curve. We're there with Tommy Hill. Just behind him, Michael Laverty has regrouped and is just on the back wheel of John Kirkham.
I was just going to say, he's a fast man, he's Laverty, and it looks like he's getting into his stride now.
Behind him, Michael Rutter, Graham Gowland once again leading the Evo class ahead of Lowry and Linfoot. Josh Brooks, I'd forgotten about Brooks. He's had a terrible start. He's in 11th place, Josh Brooks, on the Relentless by Taz Suzuki. Yeah,
to be fair, seeing what he did to his bike last time out at this point here, Paddock Hill, I'm surprised if it's going in a straight line, to be honest.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, they did have some work to do, didn't they? And Michael Laverty has slipped almost effortlessly past John Kirkham, which is important because it means he can kind of defend Tommy Hill, perhaps.
I don't think he's going to want to defend Tommy Hill. It's interesting to see what Laverty's going to do, because they've obviously discussed it. The way I see it at the minute is the man who's on the move is that man there, number 21, Hopkins, and he looks like he's going to be able to get past Ellison at some point. It doesn't look like Tommy's got the speed now. What does Laverty do? Does he pass his teammate and then drag him up to the group in front? That's the way I'd see it at the minute. I think that's the best way he could help at the minute.
Well, right now he's just sitting there. Well, not sitting there. He's got past Kirkham, and the two Swan Yamahas are together.
He's already sussing out what to do. Look, he had a good look round. He wanted to know that Kirkham wasn't close enough to make an assault. And I think we're seeing now Laverty coming up with some kind of plan in his head as how he can help his teammate.
As they go whipping through Sheens there and then swing left at Sterling's. There is the HM Plant Honda of Shaky Byrne. If you're looking for his teammate, the now about to be ex-champion, he's in 22nd place, Yuichi Kiyanari, as we look back at the Clark Curve through Clearways, the Clark Curve, and then that absolutely essential drive onto the Brabham Straight up towards Paddock Hill Bend. And once again, Ellison proving, wow,
he's got the pace.
Where's he found this late? It all started with that terrific battle with Chaz Davies in the World Supersport round at Nürburgring, and he's been a different man.
He has. He's had a couple of really good battles in World Superbike last couple of times, and he's just got a bit of confidence now.
Down the hill from Druids Hill Bend, Shaky Byrne still leads the way from Ellison. The Cooper Straight, straight with a huge kink in the middle. And once again, John Hopkins, perhaps, well, is Hopper just thinking, do I need to do more than this? He's just sitting comfortably behind Ellison at the moment.
No, he doesn't need to do more than this, but he needs to just finish in front of Tommy Hill. It looks like Laverty's going to have a look at his teammate Tommy Hill now. I think that's the best thing that Laverty could do. If he can get past clean, which is a big ask, you don't want to do anything untoward with your teammate. Just getting past your teammate in a situation like this when the championship is kind of finely poised is not an easy thing.
126.314. Michael Laverty sets the fastest lap on his third circuit here of the magnificent Brands Hatch Grand Prix track that was mapped out and opened for the first time back in 1960. We've had 41 years of this nonsense.
And I reckon if Hopkins doesn't go forward and start making inroads into Ellison and Shaky Byrne's lead, I think Tommy's going to kind of get into his stride here. He tends to do this, Tommy, especially when he's got a little bit of pressure. It takes a bit of time getting going and then goes quicker as the race goes on.
So as they drop down now through Paddock Hill Bend onto the 5th of 20 laps, Shaky Byrne leading handsomely at the front with James Ellison there and the blue and white Suzuki of John Hopkins second and third. Then it's the distinctive red yellow.
Oh, he's got a faller. I think it's Kirkham. I think Kirkham.
John Kirkham's gone down at Druids, so Kirkham falls at Druids. Rutter will move 6th ahead of Gowler, Linfoot, Brooks and Lowry.
Here comes. Oh, you're going to watch that.
That was into Surtees, and the sweeping wide entrance there of Ellison paid off, and also gives him the drive up the hill, James.
Yeah,
we saw Kirkham.
Kirkham's out. Here we go. Man in the back of the short, down he goes. And it's exactly the same place we've seen other people fall down. The damp patch has dried up, but yeah, it caught him out nonetheless.
So that at least takes the pressure off the Swan Yamahas immediately, James. They don't have the second Samsung Crescent Suzuki nagging at their heels.
Yeah.
So this is getting into. You were right about Hills seeming to warm to his task now.
Yeah, he seemed to do this, especially when he's had a little bit of pressure. We've seen that. Sometimes makes a few mistakes. We haven't seen any mistakes from this race. It's just that he's just taking a bit of time to settle down and get into his rhythm. You can hear the crowd, and it's not often that the crowd are that excited or numerous where you can actually hear them shouting for who they want.
There is a huge crowd here today. How fast is Hopkins coming out of the Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight there, dropping down Paddock Hill Bend? James Ellison still clinging on onto that second place. If the first two just happened to stay where they were, James, if Tommy Hill could swap places with Hopkins, he would have the title by 1 point.
That's right, yeah, because it's a 3-point difference in what they get.
It's that close.
Yep.
16 points to 13 between third and fourth places.
We're like mathematicians, Jack.
I wish Miss Polly Ranson had realised that when I was 15 and she was clipping me around the ear.
She sounds nice, Polly Ranson. Was she a looker?
No, she was a hideous old bat. Shaky Byrne, James Ellison and John Hopkins first, second and third. Tommy Hill in fourth. Michael Laverty running fifth. These are the main men. Rutter just a bit back ahead of Brooks now. Has burst through to seventh ahead of Linfoot and Gowland. Lowry rounds out the top 10 for MSS Colchester Kawasaki.
And this actually couldn't get any better for us, because...
Hopper having a moment down the hill.
Yeah.
So even Hopkins, a man of his experience in MotoGP since 18 years old, James, is having to force on here.
Yeah, and this is the thing for Hopkins. He's never actually won a championship, I don't think, because he's never been in a championship long enough to win it.
James, he won at 16 and 17. He won 2 AMA titles, the Formula Extreme and the Supersport 750, and that was what got Peter Clifford interested, and he brought him over to Europe as a kid to ride in motorcycle.
And I'll tell you, that Formula Extreme is like road chassis, road wheels, road brakes. You can do whatever you want to the biggest engine you want. They are monsters, or they were back in the day.
So Hopkins, a man of immense experience there, born obviously in California, in Southern California. Oh, and another moment for him here at Druids Hill. Just the back wheel gave way then.
I'll tell you what about Hopkins, you know, whether it's his GP experience or whatever, but it does seem to be a kind of damage limitation in an event of a tyre going off, a slide, he runs wide. He always just seems to get the best out of it somehow.
It's that very relaxed feature you pointed out earlier. Here he goes, watch this.
Yeah, and that's it. The body just kind of bobbed down, and he kept all of it. That didn't worry him at all, I don't think.
So Hopper then look at that right-hander at Hawthorns is so sweet. 100 mile an hour third gear, 130 miles an hour up the Minter Straight before you drop into the downhill at Westfield, 90 miles an hour. You're up to 140 through Dingle Dell. Look at that. Let's not forget the ride that Shaky Byrne's having at the front, having thrown himself down the road twice during the course of the weekend.
Yeah, we like Shaky.
And this is Stirling's Bend, and then the essential rush down through that great feeling as you go down through the trees and then burst out into the arena to the noise of the crowd. Tommy Hill about 3 bike lengths adrift of John Hopkins as they come round Clearways in the Clark Curve.
You know what I love about you can tell all this from a lap on a scooter.
I know. With nobody there at all. Oh, don't forget the pace car.
Yeah.
Tommy Hill, 33. As he's kept saying he knows what he has to do. Well, he certainly knows what he has to do now. The mathematics are that simple.
And you know what the problem that Tommy's got is Hopkins doesn't tend to make a lot of mistakes. He can run at a speed, he can just do about what he needs to do at any point.
Byrne leads it, Ellison in second place. There he is, number 16, having yet another tremendous ride on the SorryMate.com Honda. Michael Laverty's running 5th, and then there's a gap of, well, not actually that big, a gap as Hopkins just takes another look at the inside of the Hawthorns.
There's nothing wrong with what James Ellison's doing here. His pace is good enough so that it's not easy for anybody to pass him.
Do you know what you and James Hayden say about Ellison not necessarily being a very aggressive rider when it comes to trying to make moves, but it's that consistency he has that helps
makes him difficult to pass. He's quick, but I'm not saying that in a bad way.
It really is good the way that he can run at the front like this, just comfortable.
Now he's got his confidence back. He's going as fast as what we know he can.
Exploding out into the arena once again.
Close.
Tommy as close as he's ever been to John Hopkins, and the crowd know it. Don't they just?
And you know, when I've spoken to the crowd out there and people in the paddock, it's about a 50-50 split, I think, even though we're in Tommy Hill's back garden here just about. You know, it is a 50-50 split. Lots of people saying Hopkins, lots of people saying Hill. It's not, you know, a one-sided crowd by any means, this.
Druids Hill Bend, there we go, 50 mile an hour, second or even bottom gear right-hander, then this sharp burst downhill into the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend. Most of these bends and straights, of course, named after wonderful riders of the past and drivers of the past. Graham Hill, one of them, John Surtees, the Surtees Bend here. The only man ever to win world titles on 2 and 4 wheels.
Tommy just got a little bit of a rear end slide there.
And that's cost him
time,
so much time coming out of Surtees.
And look, Hopkins can almost level with Ellison through the speed of the bike and through the fact he's really good at Surtees, but he still can't get past.
Ellison,
he's very good.
Immaculate race here. So Ellison, number 18, number 16, he's running in second place, about just under 2.5 seconds astern of Shaky Byrne.
And you know what we're seeing? Hopkins is quicker on the first part of the lap, you know, Paddock Hill, Druids, down into Bottom Bend, into Surtees, and then Tommy Hill, he's definitely quicker around the faster flowing second part in the woods section of this track. The problem for Tommy is that's the part of the track that's almost impossible to get past when you're racing somebody who's right on his game.
And these guys are certainly on their game. James Ellison is older brother Dean, former rider who shared the World Endurance Championship with him a few years ago, is here watching him. Probably actually inspired him a bit by the looks of it. Perhaps Dino should come more often. Shaky Byrne now 3.4 seconds ahead of this immense battle for supremacy. For supremacy as in the MC Insurance 2011 British Superbike Championship title.
Yep. Half distance. And like you say, Shane's gone. Shane Byrne has gone.
Is it already half distance? We're on the 10th lap of 20, so complete this lap absolutely half distance. Shaky certainly lapping in. He's the only man in the 126ers. Look at him, he's cleared off. Shaky Byrne, 126.5 on the last lap. These guys lapping at 127.4.
Now it's this section of the track that Tommy Hill seems to be a lot quicker. Just runs the mid-corner speed a little bit quicker through the faster stuff. He's right with Hopkins now, but you'll see Hopkins stretch that little bit of a lead when they get onto the shorter, the kind of infield section, the stadium section of this track.
They're riding. It's good to be able to stop talking just for a moment and appreciate the limit to which they're riding here.
Yeah, I tell you what, you know, Brooks is going quick. Brooks is actually going quicker than everybody in front of me except for Byrne.
And Michael Rutter has been closing in on this gang. Rutter's riding in the 126ers. Brooks was faster than Shaky Byrne on his last lap by a tenth of a second.
Yeah, just.
Half distance, 10 laps complete. Shaky Byrne leads it by 3.5 seconds from this immense battle.
Brooks, fastest lap of the race. There you go.
126.1. That's a second
quicker than Rutter, Laverty and Hill and Hopkins.
How many people do we want in this? There's 4 riders going to be involved in the second half of this race, possibly for second place. This becomes then a 12-wheeler.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, and this, you know, with the exception of Ellison and Rutter, I think every one of the riders we're seeing was actually the riders in the showdown. Fantastic. Couldn't get any better than this.
So as they come over the crest of the hill, that sharp, steep pull out of Surtees, and then this immense, thrilling plunge down Pilgrim's Drop. Shaky with that, holding that 3.5 second lead. Tommy Hill once again able to just tow himself back in towards the Suzuki.
You know, on the bridge at Pilgrim's Drop, it's so low, it's really close here. You know, when they used to give you a proper full lap on the top of a pickup, sort of a victory lap, if you shouted duck just at the right time, you could get everybody on the thing, duck jumping on the flatbed. It looks that close.
Mate, I duck when I go over and they're on the scooter.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, Brooks in front of Rutter now.
And Brooks has stormed past Michael Rutter, so Josh Brooks is going to join in the fun here in no time at all, I suspect, because he really is enjoying this.
We'll see what this lap of Brooks has been, but he spent half that lap behind Rutter. He's pulled half a second already. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's still quick.
26.6, yeah, exactly matched Shaky Byrne on that lap.
Yep.
And then through the hollow, up Halewood Hill into Druids. On the 12th lap out of 20.
It's kind of settled down into a kind of uneasy kind of freight train, this, you know. Yeah, I mean,
uneasy is the word. You know, I've just looked round and there's an uneasy series of eyes looking at this over our shoulders. Everybody
an uneasy sea of critical eyes.
What is going to happen here? Out of Surtees. Michael Laverty's got to, he knows that someone's coming behind him, and it's Josh Brooks, so Laverty just might have a bit of fending off to do here. There are so many ways in which this could go.
There is, but I tell you what, trying to fend somebody off who's going quicker than you is an almost impossible thing. There's no mirrors on these bikes. He can't be looking back.
Hopper Suzuki,
he's done that. He's done that before. He's done that before down there. That's because he's hard on the gas. The rear's struggling for grip. He starts to move. He's not shooting the throttle. It's not holding him up.
And he knows, you know, he's confident from the first race that he knows that he's got the pace to kind of deal with Tommy. He knows that it's hard for Tommy to make a thrust pass, and he has been able to respond straight away when Tommy has got past him.
We've seen that earlier, but this is a different race. No damp patches, no tyre choice issues. This is a lot better condition-wise for Tommy and Hopkins to sort the job out.
Onto the 13th lap of 20. 12 exhilarating laps complete here at Brands Hatch.
Watch Brooks cut to the inside. He's having a look at Laverty now. Not good. You could just see him lining that up.
This, the fabulous 2.3-mile Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. What better a scenario for the climax to the British Superbike Championship 2011. Shaky Byrne 4 seconds ahead with that last 126.7 second lap. Brooks faster than him once again, 126.5, and there he is, right behind the bright green helmet of Michael Laverty. So the black Suzuki joins in. It's a 5-way battle.
You know, when Shane Byrne can destroy the opposition like he's doing now, that's taking nothing away from the fight we're going to see these last few laps between Hopkins and Hill. But you know, you've got to think that it'll go into winter, will Shane Byrne, thinking what could have been, you know, a little bit of bad luck, the way the championship point systems work. You've got to think he'd feel a little bit sorry for himself, really.
Tommy Hill on that tight line through Dingledale again, just riding right with Hopkins, riding almost shotgun with Hopkins.
You know,
what can he do to push past?
Do you know the man who can affect this championship now?
Brooks.
Definitely. Josh
Brooks plunging down underneath the bridge into, the 5 of them nailed together around the clearways.
You know,
James, is this I've never thought this was a really, you know, incredibly impossible circuit to pass on, but it's looking like the way these guys are going. And here comes Brooks, getting inside Michael Laverty, and that's a powerful move by a man who had an enormous crash right there earlier today.
Yeah, a powerful move with absolutely no way back for Laverty, and this isn't good for Tommy Hill. Tommy Hill needs to know what's going on. He's obviously getting good lap signals. I'd like to see what they're telling him, actually, because this has been coming for a couple of laps now.
And Josh Brooks is not going to waste any time. He moved up the inside of Tommy Hill, or tries to, going into the uphill at Surtees, and Hill's not quite as quick getting the drive through there and over there. He just loses a bit of time to John Hopkins. Josh Brooks perhaps not got sufficient of draft to get past him, because Tommy's been closer than that on previous laps.
Yeah,
not on the brakes.
Yeah, this is the point of the track, the section of the track that Tommy Hill's really good. He flows through there really well, and he keeps his speed. Look, he's right on the back wheel now of Hopkins, and he has pulled away that couple of bike lengths from Brooks. But this is Tommy's part of the track. You'll see that both Hopkins and Brooks are stronger on the sort of infield, you know, the start and finish area and around there.
We're on the 14th lap of 20. Something's got to give, surely,
that's the thing. He's just building up. It's like a kind of pressure cooker that something has to blow up at some point now.
Josh Brooks is the huge threat on black and white. There is the relentless by Suzuki.
He's looking for the same move as he pulled on Laverty last lap. That's what he's looking for. Tommy Hill, I don't know what it said there, but...
Plus naught, P4.
Yeah, well, P4 is obviously position 4, he knows that. And you can tell when Tommy starts trailing a leg on the brakes that he means business and he's trying to get past. I think there's been something on Tommy Hill's board that's told him that he needs to go.
Right, well, on his 14th lap, on his 15th lap out of 20, he's running out of time. He's got to go soon. Here's Brooks coming up the inside, and I think he's going to make a move. Tommy just cuts across and shuts the barn door going into Surtees.
And that's the danger. I think Tommy knows he's there now. I think from his lap signals, and he'll hear the engine and the induction roar from that Suzuki J6R1000 of Brooks. I think he knows he's there. Tommy, if he's going to go, he needs to go now.
Well, it won't sound like the cross-plane thunder of his teammate, will it? That's for sure. And we go along the Minter Straight, dropping down 15th lap out of 25 laps to go after this one.
There's another factor here, you know that.
Oh, Michael Laverty is recharged. Look, you know he's.
There's another factor here. They're all got the same choice of tyres. They're all on Pirellis, obviously. We know that, but there's a lot of conservation can go on of your tyres. You know, if you're sat behind somebody, it's amazing just how much you can conserve your tyres. And it might just come down to who's got the rear tyre left come the end of this race.
And as we come howling towards the finishing line, this is all that it needs, is one switch in position, and the whole balance of the championship is altered. Tommy Hill just thinking about it as they drop down Paddock Hill Bend.
And he's got to do. He has to do.
The immensely likeable 26-year-old finds Brooks trying to tuck inside him into Druids.
I just hope that Brooks is kind of careful if he does make a pass and all that. You don't want anything to affect what we're going to see. This is boiling up nicely.
At the front then, at the front is Byrne. He's gone by 5 seconds. Hill still there in 4th place. Hopkins did the vital thing, getting out of the gate ahead of Tommy Hill and giving Tommy Hill the work to do in pursuit.
I thought it was the man pulling in was Chris Walker. We saw him just pulling the pits as the leaders flashed through clearways last time.
Behind this lot, we've got Rutter, Gowland, Hickman and James Westmoreland rounding out the top 10. Chianari's actually made a slight fist of it and moved into 11th place. But his championship is gone. One of these two guys will be champion in his wake.
Hickman down there in 9th is lapping as quick as anybody on track except Byrne.
Yes.
This is how close it is.
Wow.
I can hardly talk, Jack, because I can't really call this one. I'm trying to spot everything I can, what the bikes are doing.
Here's Tommy Hill, thinking about making a move, but he just didn't quite have the sheer penetration then.
You've got to watch out there, because at Clearways there's a real bump on the inside. If you get forced on the inside by trying to overtake something, then having to just cut to the inside to miss them, there's a real bump there. And you're hard on the brakes, you're on the front end, lots of weight on the front tyre.
Tommy Hill, whose career looked finished when the family ran out of money back in 2003, and then a thing called the Virgin Mobile Cup came along, and he went and won that on the R6, got himself a ride in British Superbikes, and he's been, he was a regular on the British Superbike scene for a fair few years, but this is the nearest he's ever got to becoming champion. There's only one place in it. We're on the 17th of 20 laps, 3.5 laps left of this race, and somehow he's got to find a way through, and Brooks monowheels over the top of the crest.
He got a good drive out of Surtees in Brooks, and he's not going to be close enough though. Here comes Hopkins. Hopkins keeps having a go.
And Hopkins, Tommy Hill tries to cut it tight along the Minter Straight. He got it! He got a brilliant drive out of Hawthorne.
How did he do that?
Tommy Hill just pulled it, the pin, got inside John Hopkins. They go now down through Dingle-Dell, and Michael Laverty's trying to fight his way into this. Wow!
How did he do that? How did he find the speed? But I know he's quick there. He's been really quick and fast mid-corner all weekend. But I really don't know how he did that.
So Byrne leads the way. This means that Tommy Hill is 1 point in the lead in the championship, I think. Yes, Hill 6.43, Hopkins 6.42, as they come bounding onto the finishing straight.
Crowd's gone now.
Out of the 18th of 20 laps.
You can hear the crowd.
And Michael Laverty's pushed through into 5th place.
Well, you know what Michael Laverty needs to do now?
He's got to do something about Hopkins.
This is a sector of track, though, that Hopkins is really, really quick, especially down the bottom bend here, then into Surtees. He's gone wide.
Michael Laverty looked for a way inside then.
Here we go. I bet he'd already. That's not how it happened. He'd already got the pass made. He carried so much speed from. I don't know how he did it. Incredible.
This is Tommy Hill. He's just got to be careful and take it. He had to go conservatively tight into Surtees. Has he got the speed down Pilgrim's Drop?
It's if Hopkins has got the drive out of Surtees to get past Tommy. Now we know Tommy's quick. From here, Tommy's the quickest man on track, I think.
So Tommy Hill, with that inspirational pass, well, he's given himself a chance.
And now Laverty is in a position to make a massive difference and to defend and to help his teammate in a big way. If he can just get past Hopkins.
He's looking for every opportunity he can to get past the American here.
He's got him. He had a...
James Ellison here is somehow fending everybody off. He's still second, but right behind him the championship decider is taking place. And how? We're going on to the last 2 laps of this colossal race.
This is unreal. Now Tommy needs to make a real lunge at Ellison. Laverty needs to make a lunge at Hopkins. And here comes Tommy over the inside.
Tommy Hill gets inside. James Ellison at last. Ellison is forced to submit.
He got it.
Go, what a move by Tiger Tom. Tommy Hill runs out wide, but he's got the line up to Druids Hill Bend.
And now we're going to see what Hopkins is made of, because he needs to go now, and he knows that. He doesn't need a lap signal. He knows what he needs to do.
We're on the penultimate lap of the final race of the 2011 British Superbike Championship. Tommy Hill, number 33. Here comes Hopkins. He's been strung up here earlier today. He moves back past Ellison. Now he's got that 3rd place. He's got Tommy Hill in his sights.
And he knows what he needs to do now. The championship is right there in the front of the screen.
So we're on the penultimate lap of the 2011 title chase, and the 2 protagonists are there, 2nd and 3rd in the race. Whoever finishes in front between the 2 of them will take the title. And we've got 2 contrasting characters. Tommy Hill, the affable, effervescent young man from Surrey, against the fella from Ramona, in Southern California, John Hopkins.
And Hopkins, this is ominous now, because Hopkins forced his way past Ellison just when he had to do it, and he did it where he wanted to do it, not where Ellison let him do it. And he's able to get back on the back wheel of Tommy really quick, and that... I think that's
the crowd howling as they emerge into the arena.
1 lap!
and 1 lap to go. We're on the Brabham Straight. Here comes Hopkins trying to take the tight line as they go down into Pelican Bend. Tommy Hill moves across to defend it.
I'll tell you what, this is blokes racing this. This is bloke stuff this now. It's the biggest man that's going to take this.
Into Druids Hill Bend. Hopkins looks to go round the outside.
Surtees, he'll definitely look at Surtees with Hopkins. He's been strong there.
Because he's been... he's going for the wide line to get a good kick out onto the Cooper Straight.
Tommy has to defend. He's got to give him the long way round.
Hopkins gets a terrific drive out of that bend, and he's forced his way through. Going into Surtees, inches between front and rear wheel. Tommy Hill guides and tries to get the drive out of Surtees, but Hopkins has got the move.
Watch Tommy now. Tommy's really
drop. He's got to make a move as we go down now. Pilgrim's drop into Hawthorns. Tommy takes that narrow line and levers his way back in front of Hopkins, but now he's got to keep in front of him as Hopkins comes underneath him into Westfield, and he forces Tommy to give as they drop down into Dingle Dell. Tommy Hill takes another drive up the inside into the Sheen Curve. What heroic racing! Tommy's wide at Sheen Curve. He pulls it back across. It's going to go down to the finishing line.
It's the last corner, Jack.
We're heading down now towards Clearways.
I can't believe this.
John Hopkins moves over to try and get a tight line. He did this to Tommy last time out. He moves across. Tommy cuts back and dives in. Hopkins has gone in too deep. They go for the line. Is it going to be him? Is it going to be Hopkins? And they cross the line. It's Hill. It's Hill by 6 thousandths of a second. Tommy Hill is the British Superbike champion by 6 thousandths of a second from John Hopkins in the final race of the day. An absolute joy for the red and yellow of the Swan Yamaha team that's had so much ill fortune over the years. Sean Muir and Gary Eckerall can't believe it. Jack Valentine. Well, he's a good sport, is Big Jack, and he'll go and congratulate those fellas. But what a race. Look, Shakey's looking round saying, what happened?
That's the
John
best
Hopkins had already ridden on.
Jack, that is the best race I've ever seen in my whole life.
And Harvey Beltran congratulates everybody involved in that, of course. He had a race winner there. And look at that, hugs all round. Sean Muir in tears because he's put so much into that team.
There can be nothing but respect for each other after that display. No dangerous moves, lots of passes. You could not get a better race than that.
Tommy Hill. Tommy Hill, number 33, is the 2011 MC Insurance British Superbike champion in a phenomenal final race.
But how did he do it? How tough had he got to be there? And Hopkins. You can take nothing away from either of them.
Tommy Hill, watch this.
Here we go. Hopkins got the better drive. Hill's got the lead. But look, that's how close it is. Come on, he's still coming, is Hopkins. I can't, but look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable.
It was about a half wheel across the line.
That was a tyre wheel.
Look at this, Ian Hutchinson there, and they can't quite see whether or not it's happened. Yes, it has, boys. Yes, it has.
Unbelievable.
And Paul Denning and Jack Valentine. Oh, they can't believe it either.
Oh.
Les Pearson. Oh, well. Tommy Hill. How has a man come back from the sort of injuries and the astonishing lows of 2008? The injuries he went through, the loss of his close friend, the cancer of his dad, everything that went off, and he recovered. He got back to what we could call full fitness, and I don't think he can quite believe he's made it. That was pretty fantastic riding by both those fellas. But for Tommy to somehow get the better of Hopper in that situation, that was pretty special.
That's why I love motorbikes.
Sean Muir hugging all his
Simon
gang.
Green, old mechanic of mine there, Simon. He's Tommy's man this year.
Well, that is just great to see. The man from Gisborough, just in the ancient county of Cleveland, has finally done it. Hector Neal comes across to offer his congratulations. And throughout the days with Swan Honda, the SMR Honda team has cracked on. And it's a photo finish here. There it is.
Look. Unbelievable.
Hey, Tommy sat up.
That is after a season of racing.
That's how much the championship was won by.
That's what it came down to. The width of a wheel.
It almost defies fairness. You can't believe it, can you? After everything that's gone on. Tommy Hill, who does he loves his cycling around the Surrey Hills, Leaf Hill, Box Hill, and always tempted to get onto a motocross bike, his first love, to keep himself fit. But he doesn't do that simply because he said it's a bit too dangerous, and I know I just might get pumped up and fall off. So he sticks to his cycling and his motorcycles. There is John Hopkins.
Yeah, disappointment for the Samsung Kensington Suzuki team, but I tell you what, there's no shame in what's gone on today for anybody. honestly.
John Hopkins just lost that by 0.06 of a second, and with it the championship. What an astonishing competition that is. Here's Sean Muir getting congratulated by Stuart Higgs. It has been, well, you can't say we've ever had a tighter championship in the history of universal sport than that, I reckon.
That's Tommy's dad.
There's
Tommy's
Mick Hill.
dad. Yep.
There's Tommy's wonderful little dad, Mick. Oh, they've been through so much, that family.
As
That
a
is
family,
wonderful to see.
Yeah, it is. Stop it, Jack. You're making me fill up now, honestly.
Well, that's great to see, though. Mick, who...
Chandler, his crew chief.
Right, so all of these... Sean Muir, a former racer himself, of course, in British Superbikes way back in the day, and Gary Eckerhold there, who came in as his team manager in 2011 and has dealt with these guys so well.
That's the other side of it.
And John Hopkins
did what he had to do. He honestly...
Well, almost.
I don't think he could have done any more than that.
Well, we're here in Parc Ferme. Let's have a word with John Hopkins. John, massive commiserations, 0.06 of a second across the line. You gave absolutely everything in that race. What's going through your mind right now?
Hats off to Tommy. He won.
The race, from your point of view, you led him for a large part of it. He came past. Was there anything more that you could do?
No, guess not.
It's been a tough year for you with the finger and everything. You've got your racing back on track. Just look forward to the future now.
Yeah, I guess so.
OK, John, to see the emotions high, we'll let you go. John Hopkins quite clearly doesn't want to talk too much at the moment, and you can't blame him for that, can you? 0.06 of a second across the line. He was beaten by Tommy Hill, and you can see how much it means to John Hopkins. But Tommy Hill is over on the grid, so let's go over there and see what's going out there with Charlie, who's with Sean Muir.
Sean, how do you feel?
Oh, unbelievable. I've got no words for it. I'm empty. I'm just absolutely running on empty all day today, and it's just been a... Wow, I don't know. I don't even know what the gap was, but it's something like 6,000. 6,000. It's dividing after 26 whatever races all over the country. I mean, I tell you now, my heart goes out for them boys in that Samsung team, because I just don't know how I could have faced not winning this championship today. So, over the moon, mate, over the moon.
Nice to hear it. Well done, Sean.
Cheers, mate.
OK, well, we are here in pit lane walking through. It's just filled up with all sorts of people, as you can imagine. And a bit of a wander through. We go past Petra, Shane Byrne's wife. We're going to head up now onto the grid. Excuse me, let's come through. Thank you very much. All right, we'll come through here. Excuse me, let's come through, please, chaps. Here we go, coming through. Daddy John Jules, sorry to barge past you, Daddy. Right, let's come through here then and see if we can see Michael Laverty's here. But here comes Tommy Hill, the 2011 MCE British Superbike champion. Tommy Hill is coming down. Sean Muir stands here with his arms up. Tommy Hill, the emotion that he felt last year, he came so close and lost it. Last corner, last lap virtually, as he came through here. Tommy Hill gets mobbed by his team as he comes through. It's such a long time. The tears are pouring down his face. Everything that you can think is rolling through. Tommy, first words to you. You are the 2011 MCE British Superbike champion. Tell us what it feels like. Come on, you're usually better than that. Come on, Tommy.
Well, I don't know. Thanks to everyone. Massive support. I didn't concentrate on the laps. Are just unbelievable. Thanks to everyone.
The emotions of last year, you've carried those with you all the way through this season. You've trained so hard. 2003, you nearly gave up racing for a lack of funds. It takes you back to the R6 Cup, where it all came back on track. What does it mean to your family here? Your dad, your brother, Jimmy, everybody who supported you through?
Everyone, sponsors, team, everyone, to the last lap. This is what BSB wanted. And I don't... So
what BSB wanted, 0.06 of a second across the line. At which point did you know you had Hopper?
I didn't really. I was just like, I come up to the Druids and I was trying to see, because I see Hopper put his arm up. I didn't know. I was just, and I could see the crowds. Unbelievable. And you know, I've remembered this all weekend. I'd like to donate this win to Craig Jones, a good friend of mine, and send my guys to his family.
Wonderful sentiment. Wonderful sentiment. What next now for you, Tommy? It seems like a trite question at this time, but one I will ask.
go and drink that bottle of champagne and celebrate with the team.
Best party, Sean Muir just across from you. Sean Muir, team owner, Mick Shanley, the crew chief coming in here. Sean, sum up that performance for us.
You won't see a better race than that all year. That last lap there was unbelievable. We had a little sound delay on the TV, on the screen. All we were listening to was the crowd out the back, but unbelievable. Hats off to everybody in the team. It's just been a mega year, and just to cap it off with a championship win is all I could ask for.
We said earlier on that you were getting serious. Boy, have you got serious now, 6,000ths of a second.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, look, you've got to take it there. That Michael did his bit, you know, he got messed up early doors, the pace got slowed right down. Shaky went off with the win, but I mean, Hopper would have gone there if he had a chance. It just shows how much they were on the limit there. So at the end of the day, he earned this championship.
Perfect, well done, Sean. Right, Tommy, let's get you off here. Keith, one of the mechanics here. Tommy, let's get you this way, and we're going to take you through the crowd here, because it's about time that you were presented to the crowd, Tommy. So you're going to come through now. Thousands of people. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your champion for 2011, Tommy Hill. Tommy Hill, the emotion writ large on his face. Stuart Hicks, race director, comes in now. It was such an emotional thing last year. Tommy, these are your people, this is your backyard. You said you wanted to put on a good performance for them. What does it mean more to do it at Brands Hatch?
Everything. I mean, like, we race up and down the country, and we do our thing, and yeah, like I just got myself into rhythm and felt good through the race, but you know, hats off to everyone. You know, I'd like to give my wishes to Hopper as well, because at the end of the day we're all doing our thing and racing our bikes as hard as we can and doing what we're doing. So but to come out on top with, like, you know, that close is unbelievable. So fantastic, and a massive thanks to all the crowd and everyone that have supported me. It's unbelievable.
It's a long story that you have, and one with many injuries along the way, severe injuries that weren't your fault caused by other riders when you're on the global scene. And a lot of work has gone into building Tommy Hill, rebuilding Tommy Hill as the racer, and it's paid off now. What do you see as the next step for you in your career?
I don't know yet. Obviously, with the new showdown rules, everything's a little bit later, agreements and deals and stuff. So I'll just try to get my feet back on the ground tonight, celebrate with a family, team, and sponsors, and then you know, make the right decision. But you know, whatever I do, I want to try and remain winning. And you know, I've got to say a big thanks to the team as well. You know, it's a big, a lot of pressure to go through for me and the team and everyone. And you know, we come out on top. So you know, every team has their ups and downs and bits and pieces, but we gelled together this weekend and done what we needed to do and come out on top. So over the moon, as I always said. So a big thanks to everyone.
Okay, well, Tommy, we'll live there. We'll let you go to the podium and be crowned as 2011 British Superbike champion. Jack will take us through the proceedings.
I've been around motorcycle racing for a long time, quite simply.
Jack, that was an amazing race. Just how do you feel?
Yeah, disappointed. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, anybody would be, but I mean, I'm just pleased that, you know, what we've achieved this year as a Samsung Crescent team, and, you know, I can't ask any more, you know, out of the team. John's done a magnificent job, come to the circuit, learning new tracks, putting on a fantastic show for the fans. And I mean, you won't get a much better race than that. I can't think of another last lap like that anywhere. I mean, that's BSB. I mean, over the weekend, people have been saying, "Oh, are you nervous?" I said, "No, I'm not nervous, because we get this excitement every weekend." Disappointed, yes. I mean, obviously, sure, I want to be on the top step. That's why we're racing. But I mean, you know, what can I say? I mean, Tommy beat him fair and square. I mean, I can't say any more than that. And you know. That's about it, really.
It's been the most amazing scrap, but just how would you sum up your season?
I sum up the season fantastic. I mean, the support we've had from Samsung, Fixie, Drive Business, Motorex, all our sponsors, Crescent Racing. You know, without them, we wouldn't be here. And, I mean, we're putting on a fantastic show for them. I know they're all very happy. We all want to be on the top step. It's not happened, but, I mean, you know, we know we've run at the sharp end all year, and that's all we can do as a race team. You know, I'm proud of the boys. They've given 100%. Bike's been great. The slip up in the last one with a sensor, but I mean, you know, that's racing, and it came down to the last race there, and the two best riders in the championship slogging it out. You couldn't get a much better showdown.
Thanks very much, Jack.
Pleasure.
Oh yeah, thanks very much, Charlie. Jack Valentine. You can see what it means to everybody here. If Dan the cameraman turns around and has a look, you can see it's just a sea of people down here. Right, let's get on then and confirm the standings now this time and the podium. And taking us through that, of course, is Jack Bernicle. Jack, this time it is yours.
The results of that breathtaking race then. Victory for Shaky Byrne on the HM Plant Under. We hardly noticed that exceptional ride. And then the battle between Tommy Hill and John Hopkins. That last 2 laps will live in the memory pretty much forever. James Ellison missed out on a podium this time, but what a ride on the SorryMate.com Honda. Michael Laverty's Swan Yamaha in 5th ahead of Josh Brooks' Relentless Suzuki by Taz. Michael Rutter on the Rapid Solicitors Batham's Ducati finished 7th ahead of the astonishing Graham Gowland winning the Evo class yet again. Peter Hickman 9th, James Westmoreland in 10th. 11th place for Yuichi Kianari on his Goodbye Riders champ ahead of Tommy Bridewell's Motorpoint Yamaha. Martin Jessup 13th on his Ducati ahead of the Evo boys Barry Burrell, Scott Smart, Patrick Muff, James Hillier, Carl Harris, Aaron Zanotti and Chris Walker. So the standings ended up looking like this. But a couple